Ms. Fuel, you say that Mr. Burnett is refusing to admit that he is your biological father. You say the only reason he's denying you is because he would rather drag your mother's name through the mud than take responsibility for his actions. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Burnett, you say Ms. Fuel has been given false information about her paternity, and she used that to badger, humiliate, and harass you. You admit to having a sexual relationship with her mother, but say there are many other guys and you couldn't possibly be her father.
Exactly.
Ms. Fuel, so you're 31 years old. What happened that made you finally want to establish paternity?
Well, Your Honor, in September of 2015, my brother was murdered
I'm so
senselessly
sorry.
for no reason. And that really opened my eyes. I mean, I went through a deep, dark depression. I've lost 90 pounds just off of depression and stress, and it's opening my eyes. Life is really short. I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even have to bring him here to prove that he's my father. I just want closure, Your Honor. That's all I want.
And you believe, Mr. Burnett, that she's just badgering you?
That's what I believe.
Why do you think she would even do that?
I don't have no idea really why. You know, she's been my niece.
Through marriage?
Yes.
So when were you told that she believed you potentially could be?
I've never heard of it until like about 2 years ago.
Really? So
Really?
You didn't talk to my mom when I was a kid?
Never talked to your mom about nothing
So
until
the night...
about 2 years ago. I was told by a family member, and
What were you told by this family member?
that she looks like my family.
So for you, it just came out of the blue like
Yes.
that?
That's a lie.
But that's not how it happened for you,
No,
Ms. Fuel.
my mom told me the night she was in labor, he was at a party and he was going around telling everybody, oh, Michelle's at the hospital having my baby.
That's a lie.
31 years ago.
That's a lie.
So she admitted to having a relationship with him?
Yeah.
I've never been in no
He was a grown
relationship
man.
with her mom, period.
So did you always grow up knowing he was your father, even though he would call you his niece?
At the age of 7, this same family member told me that he was my father. My mom never...
They lying.
So my mom never told me Walter was my father. She told me as an adult. She was embarrassed that he was my father. That's why she never came to me and said that. It was this other family member that told me that.
She's embarrassed. Her mom was the one that's known as the neighborhood girl. Everybody slept with her mom. All my friends did.
That's a lie.
Did
that's the
you?
truth.
That's what we're trying to
Yeah,
get
I
down to
did.
the bottom of. So
Yeah,
you
but
did sleep with her
yes,
mother?
I did, amongst 20 of my friends.
So
How do you know that? Were you there?
They told me.
You did have sex with her mother. Do you know whether it occurred during the window of conception?
No.
It didn't.
Not to my knowledge, no way.
But you were told that it did, Ms. Fuel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And you were told that he is your biological father.
Then why ain't her mom here?
Were you?
Hold on. Don't come from my mama. My
I'm
mama's
going
sick.
for
She's
nobody.
suffering from a loss. My brother was murdered. She can't handle this. I got this.
Let's reset.
Please.
Mr. Burnett,
Yes, ma'am.
were you around when her mother first found out she was pregnant? Do you remember that happening?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, I remember it happening.
And so when that happened, was there a certain guy that everyone said, okay, well, he's the father, or she
Yeah, there's a white dude that said was the daddy.
So that was the word on the street at that point.
Exactly.
You all kind of just said, all right, then it's his.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
you said it's not.
I went on with my life.
Ms. Fuel, did you ever hear about this gentleman being the person everyone thought was your father in the beginning?
Yes, Your Honor. He was a possibility, but clearly I'm not mixed.
Who's giving you information?
As an adult, I asked my mom, be honest with me. She told me that there was another possibility.
Ms. Fuel, have you attempted to have a father-daughter relationship at all? Have you tried to establish a relationship with Mr. Burnett?
Yes, I'm the one who reached out to him. He even said,
She attacked me on Facebook is what she did.
Hold on now, what is going on now?
Because
No, she made a comment on my daughter's page or something, and I was like, Toya, don't tell people I'm your dad when you don't know the truth.
No, Your Honor. His daughter right there, posted a meme that said something about fathers ain't She can agree with that. She knows he hasn't been in none of his 3 kids' life either.
Whatever.
He's a deadbeat father.
Okay.
It's what I was told, and I commented 100. That's true.
Does anybody have any of these messages so I can try to make sense
Yes,
of
Your
them?
Honor.
I'd like to see them. Ron, can you hand me that evidence, please?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
This is after her Facebook post.
So the first one starts, Mr. Burnett says, "Stop it, Toy. There ain't no proof. Until I get proof, I love you like a niece."
Your Honor, mind you, this is 2 days after my brother's murderers were captured. So, of course, I'm in my emotions. Of course, I'm in my feelings. And yes, I did badger him on Facebook. Yes, I did. I'm not going to lie about it.
So let me go to the next one. It says, at some point you said, like you said, after all these years, does it really matter? Yes, it does. I need to know who to blame for my childhood, all the suffering I had to go through. Yes, it matters because I have siblings I don't know. I'ma prove you wrong, Walter. You respond, Mr. Burnett, prove your mama wrong, not me.
Period.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
We've never had no bitterness in our life ever, other than this, what's going on right here. I ain't got no harsh feelings towards her. I've always looked at her as my niece, and
But do you understand, Mr. Burnett, because of what she's been told, she believes you're her father, and when you
But
speak
she's
to her,
been-
it feels like she's being rejected.
she's been told. That's just like me saying that he's my uncle.
Well, I mean,
You know, he's not.
But listen, but no one in your family, no one close to you, no one you love and trust that knows you and knows the other person has told you that news. It's different circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, really.
Well,
I know this may be difficult for you to accept and difficult for you to take in, especially since you regard her as your niece. But if you put yourself in her shoes for a minute, this girl is just running around trying to figure out who her real father is, and people have fed her a story.
Well,
and then you admit, yeah, I did sleep with your mother. In her mind, she's saying, well, it's even more of a real possibility that what they're saying could be true.
Okay.
That's how she feels.
I understand that, but how do I feel?
I'm disappointed that you on Facebook, as old as you are, engaging in nonsense back and forth with a 30-year-old girl that's your niece. If she did that, you should have picked up the phone and said, come on, let's go out to lunch. And we need to have a conversation about what's going on because we're not going to do this. Instead of going back and forth with a 30-year-old girl after her brothers died about something that you're so adamant is not the truth.
I wasn't aware of nobody died. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know he died.
What?
I live in Arizona.
I thought that this
know.
was like your niece.
She is, but I live
But
in
he
Arizona.
wasn't like your nephew?
J-
I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying you said you've known this girl all her life and it was like your niece.
No.
Word didn't get back to you, no matter where you live, that her brother had been tragically murdered?
No, not for weeks afterwards. I didn't. She's my niece. I don't really know her other siblings.
You didn't know the other siblings the way you
I don't
knew
know
her.
them.
Okay.
I don't know them.
So you did not get that information?
No, ma'am.
So when this was going on, when she says she was in a bad place because of her brother, you're not aware of that even happening at that point?
That's why it wasn't like a long message. I just made a couple little comments like, Toy, don't say nothing unless you know.
He told me that he was going to show up at my wedding and have the father and daughter dance with me, but he did not show up.
That's never been
You
said
never
to
said
me.
that?
No.
Oh my God. We're under oath, right?
Yeah, we sure are. I hope so.
You never told her?
No.
You never told me you was going to...
No, she's not my daughter. Why would I show up at her father-daughter dance?
Well, maybe because you were her uncle and you knew she didn't have a father.
No, that's not it.
So you never promised her that?
No.
Never had that conversation?
No.
You don't recall that?
No.
Wow.
Did you ask him because you believe truly that he's your biological father?
I didn't ask him. He volunteered. He offered. He said, I would be honored to have that first dance with you.
I was in the hospital at the time, so...
When were you in the hospital?
Doesn't matter. I was in the hospital.
Because you're lying. You're a liar.
Whatever.
That's all he does is lie.
That's all I do.
Why were you in this conversation that led to him volunteering for this?
I was taking it up on myself to get a DNA test. He said, okay, I'm gonna fly you down to Arizona. I'll pay for half. I'll pay for half of your fare.
Never
We'll
was
get
said.
a drugstore DNA test and do it that way.
No way.
All all of these conversations you say never happened.
No, I have never said nothing about flying her to Arizona or...
You said you would pay for
No.
half of my ticket. Why would I have to pay for half? I shouldn't have to pay for nothing.
I shouldn't either.
You ain't paid for nothing.
I ain't
What have
going
you
to.
done?
There's
You
no
haven't
need
take-
for me
You don't even
to.
take care of your 3 kids.
Yeah.
Mr. Burnett, I want to hear from your witness. I want to see if someone else can shed light on this. This story is a lot. Please stand, ma'am. Step to the podium and state your name for the court.
I'm Janae Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you are Mr. Burnett's biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, do you remember knowing Miss Fuel all your life? Was she like your cousin?
No, I knew of her because, like they said, they married into my family, but that's it. I knew who she was. I've
But you
never
didn't
had
know
any
her.
contact with her, like maybe like a barbecue or something where she was there, but it's never been like we have conversations or anything like that.
You weren't cousins, you didn't hang out together, none
No,
of
ma'am.
that. But you've never heard any rumors or things that your father could potentially be her biological father as well.
No, ma'am.
That's a lie.
Now, why are you saying that's a lie?
Because we talked about it on Facebook.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
But, okay, we talked about it, though.
And what did you talk about?
We talked about, she was just like, well, my dad told me that it could be many possibilities. Her dad, whatever her dad fed her, she basically was talking about my mom too. So clearly they had a discussion about it. So clearly you knew about it.
I never said I didn't know about it. I just found out 2 years ago.
Now, did your father say to you that he was one of those possibilities?
Basically, he told me he had relations with her and there were other possibilities. He never said anything about him being the possibility.
But he did say to you, she's looking for her father or she believes I'm her father.
Yeah, so when I had to reach out to her on Facebook, I asked her, I was like, hey, so I heard, you're saying my dad is your dad. And then that's when we got into our conversation, basically her just telling me her side.
Right.
And I told her mine.
And I can tell this really hurts you, Miss Fuel. Like
It does. It does. People don't understand. I suffered so much throughout my childhood. I went through so much. And I'm carrying it. My child was so rough. And I get to see him take it with these other 3 kids. He even took care of a child that wasn't his. I'm a possibility, so why didn't you at least try to find out if I'm your child? But you over here taking care of another chick's baby that ain't yours, but you want to keep telling me, oh, your mama this, your mama that. You didn't even try. You didn't even try. Why didn't you try if you knew it was a possibility?
Because I knew
Stand up and
your
be a man
mom's
for
history.
your kids.
I knew your mom's history.
What about your history? You're worse than her.
That's your opinion.
No, it's not. It's facts,
I
man.
wasn't worse than your mom.
Yes, you are. You are
No,
today.
That's your opinion.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Can you hear her, Mr. Burnett? She's just saying,
I understand.
You
I know that
understand.
she's hurting.
No, you don't.
But until the truth has been told her to us, you can't just say stuff. That's just like her mama just said. Her mama said, he's your dad.
No, she didn't.
She ain't 100% sure.
My mama told me that.
She's
She was
not.
real with me. My mama was real with
Yeah.
me.
Well,
And
Did
Did she
told
tell you about everybody else she
Yes,
slept
she
with
did,
then?
baby.
All 20
Everybody?
people?
Yes, she did.
12, 25
you
plus?
weren't even conceived yet. Why are you
It doesn't
standing
matter
up?
here.
Why are you
It doesn't
standing
matter.
up?
I'm here.
okay,
You don't need to
listen,
be.
listen,
In our
listen,
tears.
listen.
Relax.
Wipe them
Y'all
tears.
fired.
Wipe them tears.
Let's get some order. Miss Fuel, did your mother, when you say your mother really kept it real with you, I want to be honest. If she did sleep with other people as well, did she give you their names too? She did.
Yeah.
Did you try to contact those men as well?
No, it's only one other person.
No way.
This is what I
There's
need
no
to
way.
ask you. Are you here hoping he's your father?
I believe that he is, so I wouldn't be here, because I feel like I'm carrying the shame.
I think that's very real because most people can understand how you can feel confused, how you feel like you were left behind, how you feel like he's rejecting you. It really touches me because that's a tough burden to have to bear for a young girl. You did nothing to cause this. You know that, don't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm happy that I'm here today with you all so that I can give you some answers because we need them. I have the results for you. Ron?
Your Honor.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Fuel v. Burnett, when it comes to 31-year-old LaToya Fuel, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Burnett, you are not her father.
Apologize. I'm sorry.
sorry. Okay?
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. There's no apologies. It's all right.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Miss Fuel, are you all right?
No. But I will be. But it does bring closure, and I really apologize. I'm sorry to both of y'all.
Apology accepted. There's no apology needed, though.
You were only going off of something you were told. And if you had to get answers to be able to move forward, so be it. Do you want to continue to look for your biological father?
No, I can't. I'm not. No, ma'am.
Mr. Harper, you say you are in financial shambles because you've been stuck paying support for a child you know is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you claim previous courts have denied your request for DNA testing because you allegedly signed an acknowledgement of paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
You now claim to have evidence to prove you never signed that document.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Harper, you and your son, Mac Jr., claim Mr. Harper is denying paternity as an excuse for being a deadbeat father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Harper Sr., explain to me, how have you been affected by all of this?
Your Honor, I have been affected by this by first ending up in jail for 21 days.
Really?
And
You
then-
spent 21 days in jail because of failure to pay support, or you got behind?
Yes, I had gotten behind in my child support. The police came to my house one day, knocked on my door, and told me that I was behind in child support. At that time, I didn't even know I was supposed to be paying child support.
You never received a letter?
I never received a letter.
A notice?
Nothing, Your Honor. They came, locked me up. I went to court. They asked me if I could pay the money what I needed for court at that time, what they were saying that I was behind in.
How much did they say you were behind?
At that time, I think I might have been like $500 behind.
All right.
In child support. And from then on, I was just working, trying to make enough money not to get locked up again.
He just told a story because when they sent me a letter, they told me he was $25,000 behind.
So you're saying you've gotten a letter that says now he's upwards of $25,000 behind in support?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's either $23,000 or $25,000, somewhere like that.
But Mr. Harper, I was going to say, you submitted paperwork to the court that indicated that you are, in fact, now almost $24,000
Yes,
behind
yes, if
now.
you look at
And that's
that I
the
received.
current amount that you owe.
Yes, Your Honor.
But when you were telling the story about going to jail, at that time, you were only about $500
Yes, Your Honor.
behind.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now you've still been paying this child support,
Yeah.
being responsible for it, even though you have a substantial amount of arrears.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you don't believe Mac Jr. is your child.
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Tell me about your doubt.
I have doubts that Junior is mine, all because of the fact that back when me and his mother worked, Miss Myrtle worked together, I have family and friends that told me that she had been messing around with other men behind my back. Whenever I would go to
Your
work.
Honor, that's
whenever
not
I would-
true.
whenever
That's
I would
not
go to
true.
work. I even got proof that says that someone texted me and said, or called me and said that she might even have messed with one of my family members.
So you heard rumors that she was sleeping with other people.
Yes, Your Honor.
When I read in the court papers, there was an acknowledgement of paternity signed.
It was never,
You say you didn't sign that.
No, Your Honor. Whenever I got out there to the hospital, after she had him, because she had him at home.
You had Mac Jr. at home, Ms. Harper?
Yes, Your Honor, but Mr. Sr. came to the hospital, took pictures. The nurse brought the
I came to the hospital, took
birth
pictures.
certificate
I did
up
not
there
never
for him
see
to sign,
no.
and he
I
signed
did not
the
never
birth
see
certificate.
no
And did
birth
you
certificate.
witness it?
I witnessed.
You saw him sign
No,
that
I did not
yourself.
sign no
Honor.
birth certificate. I never
You
signed
did
no
sign the birth
The birth
certificate. Why you
certificate was
standing
never
up
there.
here lying like I
Whenever
don't know what?
Whenever I came into the
All
room,
right,
there was not
standing
no
up
birth
here
certificate in
lying.
Mr.
there.
Harper, Ms. Harper, now that birth certificate was submitted to the court. I want to take a look at it. Certificate of live birth. Name, Mac Clinton Harper, that's the child, and name of the father is Mac Clinton Harper. Now, you did not sign this birth certificate.
I did not sign that birth certificate. That birth certificate was already, because when I got there.
But you do admit you came up to the hospital to see the baby after it was born.
I came there to the hospital to pick them up when they got ready to leave the hospital, because by being a home birth, when she got to the hospital, they checked the baby out. She called me like about 11 o'clock and was like, they're ready for us to come home. And so I was like, okay, I'll be over there after a while because I know I got to sign the birth certificate. By the time I got over there to the hospital, that's when she told me, oh, they had to go ahead and take the birth certificate because of the fact that they had to go ahead and get the paperwork done before you got here so we could just leave.
So wait, you came up there with the intention of signing the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, but you say that you did not in fact sign it?
No, sir. No, ma'am. I never did sign a birth certificate. She went ahead and signed it because we were still legal, because we were legally married.
So the bottom line is there was a presumption anyway, if the child was born within the marriage, there's a presumption you're the father anyway. Mm-hmm. And you would have been liable for child support.
But I never signed the birth certificate, Your Honor.
Miss Harper, you remember this day?
I definitely do.
I definitely don't.
How sure would you know? Because you busy getting drunk all the time.
If I was drunk, then I wouldn't have came over there to the hospital to see you or no
Flashing
baby.
what is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me.
Yes, it is. You need some help. You banded me and my child. What's wrong with
Abandoned
you?
you and your child.
That's right.
You stopped me from coming to see my child.
Don't go there.
We was
with me.
married.
All right, all right.
Don't go
Family, let's calm down a little bit.
You say so.
Mac Jr.,
Yes.
what would you like to add, young man?
She'd offered him to come see me, and he used to come pick me up when he was driving the cab. He used to come pick me up every weekend, and then all of a sudden he just stopped.
I stopped coming to get you, Junior, because of the fact that your mama and her boyfriend told me to stop coming to their house.
You remember having a relationship, he'd come get you, take you with him.
Yeah. Gave him a birthday party.
How old were you then?
About 7 to 11. Since 2005, out of 10 years, I've only seen him 3 years.
I hadn't seen him in so many years because she wouldn't allow me to. They moved out of town. They moved out of the town where I lived at. They moved so far away, I would have to catch a Greyhound to get there.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Because I'm physically,
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
because I don't have the money to get there with.
Yeah.
Because child support is taking all my money.
Is this about the money you feel like you do not owe? Or is this about the fact that you truly have doubts as to whether or not this young man is your biological child?
I have doubts that he is my biological child. I mean, as far as the child support money, if I find out that he is my biological child, I don't mind paying it. I've been paying it all this long anyway.
Why is it you didn't do more to make contact? He says he's seen you 3 times.
In 10 years.
I mean, that is in 10 years?
Well, I don't have a car to get around with because of the child support. It's taking everything I got.
You got a cell
You got a
phone.
cell phone.
I talk to him. He won't talk to me.
I used to try to talk to him every day. I used to call my sister every day or every other day trying to get in touch with him.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you wanted a relationship with him. You wanted to know him.
Yeah, at the time I actually wanted him in my life.
You did. Because you felt that void? That's all right, babe. Take your time.
Yes, and it bothered me a lot. The way I look at it, every child deserves to have their father in their life.
You do.
And I used to go out, look in neighbors' yards, see them, their father out there playing basketball, out there playing whatever sport or whatever, spending time with their son. And then I think about my father, which don't even try to get in contact with
What?
me.
I tried to call you.
When did you try to call me?
I talked to you yesterday, didn't I? I've talked to you on Facebook. I've even tried to call you. I left
didn't talk
messages
to me
on
on
your
Facebook.
phone.
You talked to her.
I left messages on the phone.
And who called you on Father's Day?
So, Mr. Harper, I gotta ask you, I mean, I'm looking at this handsome young man,
I don't
telling
see,
his story all his life, walking down the street and looking in yards and seeing fathers out there playing basketball with their sons. And even if you felt like you couldn't come to their house without it being an altercation, couldn't you say, look, Miss Harper, or look, Mac, meet me down the street at the store on blah, blah street. I'll pick you up, or either from there, we'll walk to the park, we'll go, whatever, go to lunch, we'll just take a walk. What was preventing you? Was it your doubt? Was it that you didn't believe this was your child, truly?
yes, Your Honor.
What in the world?
But then she was messing around with other people.
Now that's what I want to get to.
One day, I had got off work, and as I'm walking down the street, I see them up on the porch. And I all of a sudden hauls off and see her kiss him. So when I walked up on the porch, I'm like, what are you doing like that? She's telling me, oh, we just playing around, it wasn't nothing. And I'm like, but Myrtle, you're my wife, like that. Why are you out here kissing this other man? And so then the guy, he gets up and he's like, oh, it wasn't nothing, it was just a thing. And he was like, well, oh, it's gonna be like that, I'll just walk away, I'll walk away. I'm like, yeah, you need to before you get thrown away.
Was this during the window of time that you believe Mac Jr. was conceived?
Yes, because this was the person that she was messing around with. She's even been, my daughter will tell you what happened with that situation where she's seen her at her sister's.
Miss Harper, were you sleeping with anybody else during the time?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harper, you say your daughter from a previous relationship,
Yes.
your biological daughter,
Yes.
is going to join us in the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Via Skype, because she could not be here today in court.
Yes, because she just had a baby.
But she has testimony to offer that would further your claim.
Yes.
Miss Harper?
Hi.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. Congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you.
We appreciate you still making your court appearance, even if it is via Skype. I see you're very emotional, ma'am. Please tell me, what are you feeling? Do you believe Mac Jr. is your brother?
In a way, I don't.
In a way you don't?
No.
Please tell the court why.
I've witnessed her flirting around and engaging in all different types of sexual contact with other men.
Specifically, what happened? What did you witness?
Well, for one, I was about between the ages of 11 and 12. I was with her at her sister's house, and I remember the night before there were a bunch of men at that apartment, and I remember going to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning, and I heard a man's voice in that room along with hers. And I went to sit up on the bed and I leaned over. I couldn't see who the person was, but I heard their voice. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like my dad's voice.
So what you believe you heard was Miss Harper either in the bed or in the bedroom at least with a man that was not your father?
Correct.
Miss Harper, do you remember this incident?
No, Your Honor. I sure don't.
Did you ever cheat on him, ever?
Yes.
What I want to cheat on my own husband for, and he the one cheated on me with 3 daggone different women.
Oh, I need you to answer the question, though. Did you ever cheat on him?
No, Your Honor. I've been faithful to my husband.
Karen, I see tears streaming down your face. Why does this make you so emotional?
I don't really have a relationship with Mac Jr. the way I would like to. I've noticed that it's affected my dad in so many ways, financially, emotionally. And, as a child, I shouldn't have to witness, seeing another man kissing on you or touching you in inappropriate ways, knowing that you're married to my father. That is just dead wrong.
And Miss Harper, you say these things never happen.
No, Your Honor, it never happened.
So
I don't know where they getting these lies from, but it never happened.
Mac Jr., do you feel like your father, the man you believe to be your father, has any right to doubt you?
I really don't, because if you look at him, me and him look just alike. I might as well not be his child because he never done nothing for me. It took another man to step in his spot to take care of me and raise me up as a man.
Well, Mr. Senior?
That don't have nothing to do with this case.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it actually does. He's saying that he's never seen you try to get to him, and that bothers him. And I think it's a question worthy of an answer or an explanation.
It was just hard on me financially, Your Honor. It was hard on me financially.
Your financial situation, I get. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it was these issues coupled with your doubt that kept you from this young man. And he needs to understand what that is, because he's standing here in court saying, I don't know why you didn't make the effort to see me.
Okay.
When I hear about somebody being a junior, I think about who's the senior. You're named after somebody. Am I the only person in here that gets this? That's another layer of confusion, feeling neglected. He's carrying your name. Do you get that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The only way we're going to be able to move forward is to just get the results. I'm ready. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Harper Sr. versus Harper Jr., when it comes to 20-year-old Mac Harper Jr., it has been determined by this court, Mr. Harper Sr.,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are his father.
All right.
Now, will you please step up and be a dad to your son?
Yes, I will, if he'll allow me to. If he'll allow me to, I'll be there for him.
You now have confirmed that he's in fact your biological father. And the things you felt all of these years have been validated. And you deserve an opportunity to tell him that directly. Tell him.
It took 20 years for you to try to figure out that you was my dad. Where was you at when I needed you the most?
Mr. Harper?
If you allow me, I'll try to be in your life. If not, then I'll just try to keep in contact with you the best way I can, okay?
Ms. Holman, you opened this case against Mr. Drumgold because you claim he denies fathering your 2-month-old daughter, Alani. You want Mr. Drumgold to step up after today's results, prove what you believe. He is the father. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Drumgold, you claim there is no way you are her daughter's father because you know for a fact Ms. Holman was sleeping with at least 2 other men at the time of conception. And you believe either of those 2 men could be Alani's father. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, Ms. Holman, you say Mr. Drumgold is denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Well, anytime I call Mr. Drumgold and I say, Alani needs this, Alani needs that, it's crickets. But if I call Mr. Drumgold and I'm like, I want some or let me give you he's at my door.
Okay, that's on the menu. That's on the menu.
That's a lie.
Okay, let's move on. So you feel like he's denying the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you denying this baby?
Yes.
Mr. Drumgold, you are not in any way accepting of Alani?
No, I'm not. It's been incidents that I know and 2 other gentlemen that I know during the time that she supposed to had Alani that she was dealing with. Oh, can I speak, please?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, so at the same time, me and Mr. Drumgold were never in a relationship. We have always had an open relationship. The fact that he knew that there was a possibility he could have been Alani's father, he should have made some type of effort. He said he showed up at my house to bring me something, but someone else was there, so he decided to leave.
And
But if you came there to bring something for your child,
true?
why not give it to your child?
What's that's true?
Hold on 1 second. Before I get into all of that, I just kind of want to establish how we got here.
So when I met Mr. Drumgold, he was a party promoter, and I used to be I'm a dancer. I was a dancer for him. I met him through a mutual friend, a family member. Instantly, Mr. Drumgold was delicious. He just oozed bossness.
He was delicious?
Yes, absolutely delicious, yes. And I told him, I said, I got to have you, like. He was
that's
like,
what you told him?
Yes, he said, I'm feeling you too. So we made it from there.
So why did it never become a relationship?
During the time I was in a relationship.
But he never told me that. Mr. Drumgold was in a so-called relationship with several other people.
So, Mr. Drumgold, how did you find out Ms. Holman was pregnant?
She called me one day and she said that she was pregnant. And I think she said she was like 10 weeks. And at the time, I wasn't even in town for 10 weeks. So then she hung up with me, and then she called me back within 5 minutes. Not days later, not weeks later. She called me back within 5 minutes and said the doctors made a mistake.
And you thought that was too quick?
Pretty much.
You felt like when she called back, she was over there calculating, trying to figure out how to make it point to you.
That's exactly what happened.
All right, so as soon as Miss Holman told you she was pregnant,
Yes.
you had doubt immediately.
Yes.
Was it just about the phone call, or was it just doubt in general?
No, it was about phone calls. It was, I knew it was more gentlemen that she was messing with.
More gentlemen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so how do you know she was with other men?
As far
Your
as
Honor,
him
I
knowing
came
that
to
I
her
was dealing
mother's
with other
house
men,
and another man
he
was
knew
rubbing
I
her
was
belly.
dealing with-
One at a time.
He knew I was dealing with other men because I was very honest with Robert, Mr. Drumgold, up front. I was super honest with him, and I told him, like, I'm doing me, you doing you, because I know how you get down. Period. When I was all in for it with him, he was not wanting no parts of me.
Your
but
Honor.
parts of me.
Your
All
Honor.
right, but hold on. Miss Holman, so you are in court and you're admitting you were doing you and he was doing him.
Absolutely.
So you were definitely having sex with other
Absolutely.
men.
She
So
admit
why
now.
is it that you say
I've
Mr.
been in-
Drumgold's the father?
I mean, at the end of the day, look at her. Look at that. She looks just like
To
her
me,
with
she
my
looked like her.
yoke.
To me, she
Boy,
looked
boo.
like her.
Boy, boo.
And far as
Boy, boo. Stevie Wonder can see that's
All
your
right.
child. Get out of here.
So you are admitting through ample testimony that you were intimate with somebody else during the time.
I absolutely.
she admitting it now.
Okay. So we
Now,
got
later-
that. She admitted it.
Now.
How
Don't forget
did
that.
you find out is the question.
For one, the phone calls, the other dudes, and I went to one of her family members' house, and they opened the door, and there was another gentleman rubbing her stomach.
Really?
But at the time, again, she was telling me it's no possibility it could be anyone else.
So is this the man you were intimate with, Miss Holman?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
So I like to hear all the testimony. So I'd like to hear from this possible father. Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Rich into the courtroom?
You're smiling.
Mr. Rich, thank you for joining us. You do know Miss Holman, who is standing at the plaintiff's podium. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you have a sexual relationship with her, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do. You did. How did you two meet? Can you explain that to the court?
We met at a party back in 2016. She gave me a lap dance and we ended up having sex.
And how long did the sexual relationship last?
It was off and on. It's been off and on for the last 4 years.
Oh, you're still in a sexual relationship now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, did she tell you when she was pregnant with Alani that Alani was your child?
Yes, she did.
And so what kind of relationship have you built with Alani?
I built a father-daughter relationship with her.
You have.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you have a very real tie with this beautiful baby.
Yes, I do. I feel like I've been betrayed, man. I feel like I've been let down. I feel like I gave my all to somebody that don't give a care about me.
And I can see how much that bothers you. This is serious for you. This is not a game.
It's not no game. People got real feelings involved in this.
I can see that.
I put my time and energy into that little girl.
Yeah.
But I already made up my mind that I'm gonna be there for this little girl.
And what does that mean to you, to be a father to this beautiful, innocent little girl? What does it mean?
It means a lot to me. A lot of kids don't get the opportunity to have a good father in their life.
Right.
I didn't have my father in my life. I grew up wilding out, getting in a lot of trouble. But over the years, I changed, that's all. I changed for the better.
Oh, honey. Take your time. You don't ever have to feel ashamed to love and feel connection and commitment to a child. This is a courtroom where we know what that means. So we know that Ms. Holman told you you were the father. Did she tell you, or when did she tell you, if she did, that you weren't? Do you remember that?
I mean, she told me I was the father all the way up to the time we got in the argument, and I left. Like 30 minutes later, she texted my phone, said, "Boy, boo, that baby not yours anyway."
Boy, boo.
I remember exactly what the text read. I saved it in my phone. Cause I ain't never want to forget that moment. It hurt me when she told me that. I ain't show it, but it hurt me. Even after that, I was still there. Through the whole pregnancy, I still had love for this woman.
Okay.
But it wasn't until after Alani was born when I really fell in love with that child and made up my mind I was gonna be there.
Well, how would you even tell me? There ain't no possibility that it could be nobody else's. If he wasn't in the picture, then why is he here?
Your Honor, I asked Rich to come back. I knew that Rich wasn't the father, but I knew that he would be there for me. I knew it. I knew he loved me. In spite of everything I've ever put him through, Rich has always loved me, unconditionally. And so I took advantage of that. I didn't want to be by myself while I was pregnant. And I knew that the person I was pregnant by didn't about me.
The person you thought you was pregnant by.
I know who I was pregnant by, so shut your mouth.
The person you thought you was pregnant
Anyway.
Ms. Holman, calm down. Mr. Drumgold, calm down. I don't want to start taking this train in the wrong direction. Let's stay where we are because I do want to understand. Your testimony is, Ms. Holman, you didn't really think Mr. Rich was Alani's father.
Yes.
Did you ever confess this? Did you ever sit down with Mr. Rich?
No.
So this is the first he's heard of all of this?
Yes.
No. After I saw him rubbing her stomach, I hit him up on Facebook, and I told him, look, I know she probably saying she yours, but she's telling me the same thing. Instead of him being a man and responding to me, he went and told her, and she called me, "Oh, why you tell him that? Why you tell him that?" So, no, it's not the first time here.
Hold on. That's exactly where he should go. It's to ask the source.
Well, either way, it's not the first time that he done heard this. It's not the first time.
And he is a man because he didn't entertain your foolishness while you being a petty female.
It's not the first time, no. No, it ain't about being a petty female.
It is about being a petty female.
It's about telling the truth when you ain't.
At the end of the day, you lied too.
Let's get some order.
Fix it now.
Let's get some order, Ms. Holman.
What are you doing?
Ms. Holman, Jerome, go stand in between the two of them.
It's about telling the truth when you won't. She's sitting here saying that I wasn't there for her. I was there for her whole pregnancy.
Wow,
no,
when?
we didn't spend every day together.
He lied.
No, we didn't.
So what parts of the pregnancy were you there for, Mr. Drumgold?
What parts of the pregnancy I was there for? We talked every day. We made plans on when. We made plans on, yes, how the baby, what was going to occur after the baby and born and all that. But once I really knew he was in the picture, yes, did I fall back a little bit? Yes, I did.
So once you saw him rubbing her stomach.
Yes, I did.
And then when you reached out to him, did you ever get a response?
No. What I was thinking is she found a way, like she always do, to smooth over her lie. And because that's what she do.
No, that's not what I do.
So who did you think she was lying to?
No, I knew for a fact she was lying to both of us before she even told me that she told him.
And so, Mr. Rich, when you saw Mr. Drumgold when you were rubbing her stomach? You saw him.
Yes, I did.
How did she explain that to you that he would even be there? If this is supposed to be your baby.
She didn't really explain. When I seen Rob show up that day, I knew what time it was. I knew he was over there. And I knew he was over there still having sex with her. But, you know what I'm saying, like she always do, she take advantage of the love I have for her. She tell me some lame story. I end up sticking around, you know what I'm saying? End up just putting it on the back burner. And, you know what I'm saying? We end up having a good time, and soon as things go left again, she's back on the same stupid stuff.
So take me to the birth when Alani was born. Ms. Holman, can you take me to that day? Where were you?
I was at home at first when my labor pains originally started. I was at home with Rich. Once he left, he went to work. My water broke in the house. I called the ambulance. The ambulance came, picked me up from the house. I called him immediately and I told him I was on my way to the hospital. Once I got to the hospital, I called him and I told him I was in labor.
No, I
You
actually
had
got a
time
text.
to make 2 phone calls? in
No,
labor?
I actually got a text saying I had the baby.
Okay, well.
I actually got a text saying I had the baby.
Either way, I let him know Russell showed up at the hospital and he was there with me.
Mr. Rich?
Yes, I'm sorry, Rich.
And Mr. Rich was there at the hospital when Alani was born?
Correct.
Now, Mr. Rich, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, Your Honor.
And then you sent a text to Mr. Drumgold, she's here?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because in your mind at that point, you've made a very clear decision that you know Mr. Drumgold's the father, so you're gonna inform him. But you know Mr. Rich is gonna be there for you.
And I didn't want to step on his toes. I didn't want to hurt him any more than I had already hurt him. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, take whatever lashings, whatever talk back, whatever it is that I gotta take so that my baby grows up to be better than me.
Your Honor.
So do I make a lot of messed up decisions? Do I make a lot of mistakes? Yes. I'm not belittling or downgrading anything I've done, especially to that man right there. Because he's the last one to deserve this. I've never met a man like this in my life, which is why I don't know what to do with him. He's the best man I've ever known in my whole life. And I tell him every day, you too good for me. I don't deserve you.